today we have Chris from Fallstar with us. And Chris, you've been on the podcast a number of times. At this point, you are a good friend of the podcast. And anytime there's any Fallstar stuff that we can help, whatever two listeners that we have, whatever we can do to get them to listen to Fallstar, we're gonna do, because we're just big fans of what you guys do in the world. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with us for the third time now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. I do have a question before we get started. Is this video recording available to the public later on?
Yes. It will be on YouTube. It will be.
On the YouTube.
Oh, I'm glad I asked. I almost did some horrible things. So good.
Like what?
Wow.
No, just funny stuff.
Like what?
I'm not a bad person. I would have just done funny stuff. Funny stuff. Guys, joking around.
Nobody's ever murdered another person on our podcast. I mean, that could always be a first, right?
I almost murdered a raccoon during the last podcast.
That's metal.
That's pretty metal. That's exactly what I said, actually.
Good. I'm glad we checked.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just curious. I'm curious if the cameras were not rolling, what things does Chris Ratzlaff do?
I'll show you after.
Great.
The undertaking knows, light worker knows, the ongoing concept definitely knows.
So you're saying that this is Chris Ratzlaff after dark, huh?
Ratzlaff gone wild.
Yep. I'm trying not to be a Ratzlaff hole on
Wow. Are these things that Face Down Records would be like, no more of you anymore?
They're like,
yeah,
you're the black sheep of the Face Down family now.
Gosh, I don't know if I am. I'm trying to think of like a really evil band on Face Down right now.
Oh, A Hope for Home for sure. They're communists.
Oh yeah, well
that's true.
They're not. Yeah, they're not on Face Down anymore.
Yeah, they're not technically.
Yeah, well, I wonder why. It's because they're communists.
Mm-hmm. They're communist. I just don't think they love the Lord the way they used to. Like, they don't do the altar calls after their shows anymore, and that's really disappointing.
Yeah.
Does Fallstar still do
Matt
that?
Ellis.
What kind of altar calls does the Fallstar do these days? Is it like you got like some sort of substance you're ingesting in those altar calls, or what's going on in those ones?
Snakes?
We just have a little espresso machine, dude. It's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're like every sort of megachurch lobby.
Yeah. I'd like to say Portland, but
the
just
fellowship
megachurch.
Yeah, you're the fellowship hall.
We used to do altar calls.
Fellowship hall.
We used to do like 30 minutes of, not 30 minutes, maybe like 20
30 minutes
of like preaching every show. We stopped doing that in 2015. Like, we were very serious about.
Jeez.
Like,
what Rob Bell book got you to stop doing that?
Yeah.
What made you? What? That's that question. What made you stop?
I just felt irresponsible about it. Like, well, first of all, it's terrible for a show. Like, unless you're doing it in like a church where it's like it's kind of like an outreach thing. But it's terrible. Like, as a band, you're primarily an entertainer, and it's performance art. So anytime you're bringing any sort of agenda into it, like even if you're a vegan preaching about veganism, it just kind of kills the show vibe. So like, I just tell jokes now, but I don't give any sort of like sermon or anything. But I just felt irresponsible with it, because like I would preach this thing, and like we'd be in a different city, and I'm like, so maybe they do get interested in my belief system too. Maybe I persuaded them in some way to check it out, and then they're going to go to some church, which is just some horrible experience for them. And I was like, I'd rather just keep it in the music and not push so hard for like some sort of like conversion or thing. But I mean, I don't feel like I was preaching bad things about like Christianity, like really judgmental shit or anything, but I still felt irresponsible about it. So that's why we stopped doing it. And now,
when you were doing your like Seattle shows and you'd be preaching, some kid was like, "Oh, I'm gonna check out that Mars Hill church," and then all of a sudden they end up and now they're traumatized by Mark Driscoll. Is that what you're talking about?
That could very well have happened. Yes.
Not like you're
Yeah.
speaking from experience or anything, right?
No. I would never. But I felt weird about it, and so now we're just funny on stage and like try and give a good performance.
Do you ever?
That's good.
I know you
Yeah.
enjoy some of my like Twitter posts, but on Instagram,
I love
I
them.
put on Instagram.
Yeah, I love them.
Do you ever read those during shows now?
That's how preposterous of a question that was, Mason. That's the response it deserves. Just a giant ass laugh. Are you serious?
Bring Mason's tweets and read them on stage.
Wouldn't that be great?
It's not performance art. Come on. It's just art.
Wouldn't that be great? They're good tweets. Oh,
Mason, you know what you need to do now is you need to send him one of your tweet shirts.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there you go. You could wear those during one of your shows. There you go.
wait, you made shirts with your tweets on them?
They're like a on-demand printing kind of thing. But yeah, if you enjoy a tweet, I'll get you a shirt, and then you can wear it on stage if you'd like. That'd be nice.
I'd wear it.
There you go.
That'd be great.
You just let me know what your favorite one is. I'll get it made and send it over to Portland.
There's some bangers out there. Maybe I'll do like a full front and back of like the greatest hits.
Oh, there you go.
Just having like tour dates on the back.
I have thought about. I don't know. I'm. Oh, Neil Brennan. Do you guys know Neil Brennan? He's a comedian. He was on the Chappelle Show, or like he was one of the writers for the Chappelle Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
He
got
did
a
that
stand-up
3 different
routine.
mics thing.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was about to mention. Is the 3 mics thing on Netflix, and one of those mics, he just does one-liners. And I've thought about if I ever did like some sort of show kind of thing, I would have like the one mic where I'm maybe being more sincere, and then one where I'm talking about maybe like my own like personal stuff or whatever, and then I'd have one mic where I'm just literally like saying some of my tweets. I've thought that would be like a funny way to.
So you want to
show.
straight up rip off someone else's
Totally,
stand-up
100%. I
idea?
mean, that's what is art if not just ripping off each other, right?
Amen. I agree with that.
That might be a little too blatant, though.
Maybe it'll just become its own genre.
I feel
comedy,
so
the
far.
3
It would
mics.
be like a metal band, like all of a sudden now, like taking something from like Sufjan Stevens, and like like those audiences are not overlapping enough to like know that like they're ripping each other off.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Do you think you're as different as metal compared to like folk music? Is that I don't know.
I think I'm that different. My audience is that different from Neil Brennan's audience. I certainly think.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't. I definitely don't have enough libertarians that follow me for for that crossover to happen.
You've got one.
Two.
Well, wow, the two of them that know who Neil Brennan is. All right, well, I'll just make sure that you guys don't go to my show.
It's okay. I wasn't planning on it.
I'm actually a communist too. Sorry, I just like to pose as a libertarian. We're like they call us watermelon, so it's like green on the outside, red on the inside.
Water.
Do you use that one in front of your crowds?
No, that's a thing me and Matt Ellis talk about in private.
I like it. Are you actually a communist, or are you
No.
more libertarian, or are you just whatever?
You're just a brown PhD away from being a communist. Is that it?
Yeah. No, I see. I don't have like a
political ideology,
a pragmatic approach to how I would solve our problems.
Sure.
I would be an anarchist like the Amish or something, but
Yeah.
it can't work with cities. So I don't have much.
You might need to be
like the Amish anarchist that would like just go full out during Rumspringa. As soon as you get into a city, you just be like, "Oh fuck yeah,
dude!"
You might be a minarchist though. You might be a minarchist, which is like minimal government.
A Mennonite descent.
So it's basically anarchy, but with like the very vote. Oh, sorry, you cut out on us. What was that?
I thought you were gonna make a Mennonite joke, and my father is Mennonite. And
Oh,
Oh no.
but I was a little bummed that you weren't making a Mennonite joke.
Well, I'm sure Mennonites actually probably would dig Menarche quite a bit, but yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Fallstar, since of course you're a Ratzlaff, and so we have to talk about Fallstar. You know, I mentioned right at the beginning, I've got a funny story to share, and so I feel like at least
We're 20
at this
minutes
point,
in, Mason.
I might as well mention it. I was hanging out with this guy a couple weeks ago, who has been in a band sort of in the Christian music scene or whatever. I think his band was even signed to Blood and Ink at one point. But I was mentioning to him, like, we were chatting or whatever. I'm like, what, kind of got you into music? Like, what got you into that scene of music, whatever? And he's like, I never really listened to bands like Under Oath or As Cities Burn or Norma Jean, like some of the big heavy hitters from like kind of that Christian hardcore world that we all grew up in. He was like, no, I didn't really grow up with any of those. Like, I didn't realize those bands existed until later on. The bands I first got into where I was like, oh, I want to do this stuff were like Fallstar.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait, there is one person in the world that like started their band because of Fallstar, besides the band members of Fallstar.
That is nuts.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I know Chris. He's great. He's wonderful. But anyway, this person I'm talking to, maybe you know him, Chris. But
maybe.
He plays for Household.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Dude, Household
Josh.
Freaking rules. Yes.
Yeah,
I know
they're
Josh.
so good.
They're very
Josh,
so good.
But Josh was like telling me, he's like, yeah, I started listening. I didn't know about any of this music until I started listening to Fallstar, and he like kind of even jokingly was like, that's such a weird gateway into all of this music is Fallstar.
We're usually
for a lot of us,
it
was like Under Oath or whatever, and then we found out about bands like
Yep.
Fallstar. But for him, it was just the reverse.
God, we met them in Cornerstone, I think 2011. They came down from Canada, like him and his whole family. And I think they knew our stuff or something about it. I think they knew our songs or something like that. But we were just so surprised. We were like, wow, this is great. And I think that was before we signed with Face Down too, I believe.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he found you guys on like Noise Trade or I don't even know what you guys were
Come and
doing
Live, dude. Come and Live.
Yeah,
there was 16,000 downloads of that record. So like a lot of people heard it, which is crazy because it's not a great record when I listen to it now, but I think people enjoyed it back then.
Dude, 16,000, that's big numbers.
That's big numbers, man.
That's really big numbers.
Yeah, we have songs still from like Sunbreather that are just hitting 16,000 listens. Like,
wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. It was a wild time.
That's super strange to me. I would not have guessed that.
Mm-mm.
Like to me, like your new stuff is so much better than your older stuff. I mean,
Like,
and that's not
better.
that's not any knock on it. It's just the way the world moves.
Yeah, I feel like our band didn't get good. I feel like there's a new phase since we did Sunbather and this last one. Those are separate albums than anything we did from before, I feel like. So it's yeah. But I don't know, like music tastes just change so quickly, and like styles seem to get more concise and more straight to the point as you go on. So like metalcore, when we first started, was like a lot of the songs like didn't have choruses or maybe have one chorus or two and just weird structures. And now I feel like metalcore structure is pretty established and streamlined now. And so it's weird to listen to that old stuff and be like, it feels all over the place, like all the bands.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Hey, can we talk about how fucking awesome this record is though?
Thank you.
Sacred Mirrors is easily in my top 5 for records this year.
Top 5, dude.
Like, dude.
Thank you.
He's listened to 5 albums, by the way. Too.
I've almost listened to 6. I'm almost through the 6th one. But no, for real, it is insane to me that you're where you're at now. You're more than a decade in, and like you've like cracked the code to me. Like this is like,
yeah.
Like there's always been songs on other records that you guys have done that I'm like, yeah, this is really, really good. Where like one song like really, really stands out, But to me, like, it hasn't been like the full picture yet until this album. It's just like, whoa,
Dude,
bro.
thank you for
I
saying
like
that.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it'll be 20 years in 2025.
How
Wow.
wild is that?
Jeez.
Oh my
That's
God.
That's like an athlete like about to retire and finally won like an Olympic medal.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But thank you. That I was super proud of it. It's not doing near as well as Sunbreather did, but I just have to remember I'm like, I think it's a really good record. So I'm glad you said that.
I think it's easily the best through and through, and you have some of the strongest songs in your guys' entire catalog. I adore it. I really do.
You like that Screaming Through the Walls song?
Yeah, dude. Yes, it's so like there's so many like catchy parts, but it does not pull any punches for the heavy stuff. You know?
Thank you.
I mean, it's just it's the perfect blend of everything that I want to hear in a great heavy record these days, you know?
Cool. Yeah, I've got the next one ready. So
Already?
Yeah, I have 16 songs, but I think about 12 are like really, really good. So
Wow.
I was talking to Dawson today. I was like, do I have your permission to start sending over stuff? Or Dawson from the Ongoing Concept. I was like, can you start with me cull through all this shit now? But I'm getting ready to record. I have to finish up some stuff we did for the crowdfund. Like today I was working on this hymn that someone got for a cover song, and then I make their songs into cover songs. And then the one I did before this was like Foxy Shazam.
I love Foxy Shazam. Mason, that's the band I was showing you in the car with Kevin.
Oh, really?
It's the guy from that Macklemore song Downtown who's like downtown. That crazy guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the guys had me do a cover of that one. And so once I finish up the covers, and then I have B-sides.
Dude, can you hit like Foxy Shazam notes?
No.
Wait, so you covered it, but you can't hit his range?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
That song I can, because he's not super crazy. It's the Across the Golden Field song. It was like from their first record, but their later stuff, no, he's wild. He's got an awesome voice. But yeah, the first time hearing him, I was like, are you kidding me? No, I don't want to make this into a song. But now I actually kind of appreciate it after digging it apart, and it's just like the most wretched time signatures and like really and like it's not in a scale. Like he just goes dan 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 dan. I'm like, dude. But I'm done with that one now. It sounds good.
I love that. That's so cool.
Dude. A band that Cullen and I have mentioned.
Then I'm gonna do.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you cut out again. Would you mind repeating that?
Oh, I have those covers to finish, and then I have a little B-sides EP that I give to our crowd support or crowdfund backers, and then after I send those out, then I'll start recording the next album. Yeah.
Beautiful.
One of the bands that Cullen and I feel like it gets brought up pretty frequently, even though we've never had them on the podcast. But Loathe, and Loathe is so good at melding all of these different styles together of kind of new metal stuff, gent. You even kind of have a little bit of like this alternative rock vibe going on. And I feel like this new album, even as much as the last album, Sunbreather did a little bit of this. This album especially feels like you're really dialing in of melding all these different genres together in the way that I think Loathe does that just so well. And Loathe is, they're kind of popping off and doing really, really well right now. So I think you guys are really
yours just feels happier.
Yeah, you guys are totally in that same vein to me.
That's
You're
cool.
Happy Loathe.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to see bands like A Day to Remember or like Bring Me the Horizon when they put out some of their projects. They almost don't feel cohesive, but there's just such a wide range of genres that they can cover, and I feel like they give me permission to just have like some softer songs, some really heavy songs, and then mix them up. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, I guess I never had permission. I just felt like maybe now it's more acceptable because our albums are pretty all over the place.
They really are. But I also appreciate that too, you know?
Yeah, I
It
get
does
kind
feel
of bored.
cohesive though. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm listening to like an alternative song and all of a sudden it's going into like gent or whatever. Like for whatever reason,
Mhm.
it just kind of all melds well together.
Cool. That is good to hear. That is like one thing I kind of worry about.
What do you think makes it cohesive, Chris? What like your whole catalog? Like what is it that if you could like distill it down, what makes it Fallstar?
I think that it's weird. Like, I think since we don't get like big producers helping us on our records, a lot of really stupid ideas are allowed to be on the record. And I think that's what makes Fallstar is like there's just weird shit that would get thrown out right away, but I keep it on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it. But also, yeah, and then the choruses, that's like what I care about the most in every song. So like even with the songs with all screaming, there has to be like a good chorus that has good rhythm to it. Even if it's just screaming, there's going to be a chorus. And yeah. And
something you can like sink your teeth into.
Yeah. And the double lead thing, like anytime I do a guitar lead, I do what Jimmy Eat World does and just do an octave over it. And I don't like automate it, like where you can do a pitch shifter over it. I double track both of them, and there's definitely a feel to that. And I keep that in all of our songs too. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So classic.
Yeah.
It's like classic songwriting mixed with like whatever the fuck comes to your head. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It just allows for just freedom, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like that's the most fun. Is like it just as long as it's a good song, it can make it on there. But like I just get so bored. I get so bored so quickly. Yeah. And like that's why I have a hard time listening to a lot of music. I just get really bored. So like I think it shows in my songwriting that I get bored quickly with like something that seems really safe or like it'll be a so I just have to put shit in it to keep me stimulated, I think.
Sure.
Well,
speaking of that, when you're talking about, you know, this record came out not long ago, and you already have the next one like ready to record. What does that do for the music that is out right now in your mind? Like, do you want to keep playing it? Are you bored by it? Do you just have to keep making new music?
Yeah, by the time the record releases, I probably won't listen to the songs again. And so like I'm already like because a record takes so long to come out. Like so I record the music and then there's like a 6 to 8 month, sometimes a year gap before the label can put it out. So in that period of time, I'm just kind of done with it. Like I'll listen to the masters and I'll be like, "Oh, awesome. Sounds great." But I just won't listen to it again because I've been listening to those songs for the past 2 years, just getting them up to snuff. And so by the time I hand in the stems so that I can get mixed, I'm already writing the next record. So it's not so like the record came out in like June or July, Sacred Mirrors did, but even before that was out, I had been writing for 6 months for the new one. So now by now I've been writing for 9 months and it just yeah, I mean we don't tour that much, so and it's like writing is just what I have to do to get by. Like it makes me happy, and if I don't do it, I'm kind of not that happy, or I don't feel like I'm doing anything with my life, and I get really stressed out. And I really enjoy writing, so it just happens. Like we're not on the road a ton, and yeah, that's how I decompress every night. So
wow, dang man, that sounds like a wild trip inside an artist's mind because your attention almost inevitably has to be focused on the record that's out right now. But then you're also like, but all the fun stuff is what I'm working on.
Yes.
Like, it just sounds like such a difficult place to be in, like constantly.
Yeah, I wish I was more of a businessman because like I don't know how to promote a record very well, and I'm horrible with social media. So like this record's maybe gotten a couple posts, but it's just like, it's really hard to like try and make like little shorts or TikToks of every song, which I need to do, but I would rather, and this is also my thought, like I don't ever count on my band blowing up. So there's not really a huge point of like pushing it super, super hard when the people that care about this record will hear it. And they're the ones that help us make the records over and over. So like, I don't really care about this abstract number of people that could possibly hear our band and could possibly push us into stardom, because they could exist or they might not exist at all. And that, yeah. And that's kind of the mentality like I've been just shifting more towards too, like with Spotify, like caring about playlists or like releasing songs, like 6 singles in like 7 months just to boost numbers before the record comes out. Now I'm like, I don't care. Like, it'd be cool if people heard our band for the first time from one of these big playlists and liked it. But really, like, we're making music for like 500 to 1,000 people, and those are the ones that keep us going. And if our Spotify numbers are big, that's cool. But at really, end of the day, I just want to keep the people that are invested in us happy. And then that's enough to make record after record. So yeah, I kind of just stopped giving a shit about anything bigger. So that's why I don't promote it as much, because I'm like, I mean, everyone who cares will listen to it. So I don't know.
Everyone who cares is going to care.
Yeah. And then I get to get my rocks off writing songs and just not stopping and worrying about social media. And so kind of works out.
Dude, I love that. That's such a cool mentality.
Are you primarily like writing and recording and doing everything in your studio? Like, obviously you've got your studio space right now that you're in. Like, is that where everything's happening essentially?
Yeah, this little 6 foot by 8 foot office. Yeah,
and I mean, even
look,
like
I got
mixing and mastering, all of that's
shit
happening
on the ground, and
all the mixing and mastering is happening in here too.
No, I don't mix myself. We pay this guy Justin Abel. He's in town and he's awesome. So he does the mixing and mastering.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so everything's getting recorded in that space, right? That you're in right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And you don't need much.
Right. I mean, that's one of the other things that seems like, you know, back in 10, 15 years ago, even 20 years ago, you would have had to have gone to some sort of studio that would have been thousands upon thousands of dollars. And then you record there, and now you're just able to do it right at home with like probably like a few $100s of equipment that you buy up front, and then you have to worry about paying that ever again because you're.
It looks like there's probably $9,000 worth of guitars at least right behind you, though.
Yeah, I mean, those ones, I built a few of those. Those ones are the cheaper ones. The ones you can't see are the ones in the cases down below me. So what I did, which any other musicians or people that are trying to pay for records, this is good advice. I think it could be bad. It could be really, really bad advice. But what I do is anytime Sweetwater or Guitar Center or Musician's Friend offers a 4-year 0 interest financing plan, I buy the most expensive Les Paul I can get checked out for credit on. And then, so I have a couple of those back there, and then I have another Gibson, and I pay $50 a month for each of those guitars. So it's $100 a month that I am paying for these guitars. I don't use them. And then if I get in a pinch, or if we don't meet our crowdfunding goal, sell that guitar. And it's just like keeping a loan for myself. So I do have some expensive ones, but I don't use them.
I'm not in the insurance world, but I have a couple friends who have some very, very expensive pieces of equipment. And they have musical gear insurance. Do you have that?
I don't know. I think this is renter's insurance, right? Would that not cover it?
Dude, you have to get musical equipment insurance. It's insane. It's like $6 a month.
Oh, okay.
But one of my best buds, he has like a $3,000 really, really great touring keyboard, right? And that thing got stolen one time, and they replaced every single dollar in a moment's notice. So like your house burns down, not only would renter's insurance like take care of it, but also your musical gear insurance would also take care of it. It's a really, really great thing to have. Like I have it. That's how much I want to insure, and I don't have that many instruments.
Well, especially $6 a month.
Yeah, that's not bad. I've never heard of that.
You can't beat it. That's half the price of your internet.
A third even.
Just making deals. Yeah, I mean, you're barely paying anything for these nice Les Pauls and Gibsons. You don't have basically you're paying nothing for your internet. I mean, do you have any expenses? I guess you're living in Portland, so maybe you've got an expense there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, Portland.
yeah,
for sure.
not that. Yeah, me and
It's
my wife.
expensive living in Portland, isn't it?
Yes, it is very expensive. But we bought a house in 2015, and we got it for $215. So we did okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're
That's
you're
great.
making money.
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we got really, really lucky. But if we were trying to buy a house right now, like, there's no shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
no luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Damn.
But yeah, all this stuff I make records with, and I'm so glad I wasn't born 10 years earlier, where I just maybe would be too intimidated by it, or like the bulk of my writing years I would have just been dependent on someone else. So
Yeah.
I think that's also what I do with this band too, is like I don't have money, so kind of get good at it.
Man, we just lost you again there for probably like the last like 15 seconds. Oh,
About to
we
lose you again.
still lost you.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear us now?
All I can hear in my headphones. Yeah, I can hear you now, but it's also kind of drowned
Okay.
out by like your, I don't know, your rich privilege, I think, because you pay for internet. It's hard. Check your privilege, bro.
That teacher salary, bro.
I'm a teacher, and Mason coaxes people into coming to a seminary.
I guess I do kind of live in a mansion,
pretty
though.
rich, I tell you what. You know, they say you can marry more money
In 10 minutes.
in 5 minutes than you can make in your entire lifetime. But you can also divorce and make more money
In 5
in
minutes.
5 minutes than you can earn in a lifetime.
Wow,
Both are true.
that's great advice.
Just not generally for men.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't usually work that way.
You know, and
Which I'm okay
and
with.
if you're like Limp Bizkit, it's the same kind of thing. But when you're Fallstar, you're gonna have to work an eternity being Fallstar to make in a lifetime.
Have you ever made that thought experiment? Have you ever thought about how many Fallstar records it would take to earn what Bill Gates earns in 5 minutes?
dude, I would be so curious just to see how many records we'd have to sell to earn $30,000.
Yeah, for real. No merch, just records.
Oh,
yeah.
records? No, yeah. Impossible. I don't even think Limp Bizkit makes $30,000 each from their records.
Oh, I bet you they
Yeah,
do.
they probably do.
They have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in those early years. Oh, for sure.
Gosh.
Speaking of which, did you guys see the most recent video where they came out dressed like, Fred Durst came out dressed like a total cowboy,
So freaking cool.
and no one recognized him right away, and then like he just goes right into the song, and it was awesome. I'm not a Limp Bizkit fan at all, but I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It was really cool. I watched that reel like 5 times in a row. I was just like, man.
I think Fallstar needs to do something like
There you
that.
go.
You know, I have
You
been
look
thinking about
so
that.
good in a cowboy hat, Chris. You
Well,
look
not that,
so
not
good.
that.
Oh my God. Oh, Brokeback Mountain is definitely what I would. That's what would be on my mind.
Cullen be
Yeah,
spitting in
yeah,
his
for
hand.
sure.
Yep, I would definitely be spitting in my hand. Mason, oh my God!
I've seen Brokeback Mountain.
I haven't seen it, but I know what that means. I think.
Yeah, I think too.
Oh heavens!
Ooh.
That's pretty.
I have a gay friend from Minneapolis who, when I was living with him at one point, and he was like, one of my rituals is once a
Spit in
month
my
I
hand.
watch
Oh,
Brokeback
never mind.
Mountain.
Okay.
And when I was living with him, he was like, you have to watch it once with me. So I watched it once with him, and I was like, all right, this is Brokeback Mountain.
Was it great?
It actually is a really touching story.
Oh,
It
cool.
Did
more
you
than ways
find
than one.
yourself? Did you find yourself oddly attracted to Heath Ledger?
No, there was nothing. There was no part of it where I was like, "Oh, I would like to fantasize about all of this." But I was like, like the storyline. It's like, God, this is probably like very true for a lot of people, and I feel really, like, wow, this feels very true to a lot of people, and any story that feels very true is touching to me.
Did you spit in your hand afterwards?
No, I was waiting for you to do that.
I wasn't there, man. But next time you come over, we can watch it and we can spit in your hand together.
You can both spit in Mason's hand.
Yep. Just
Oh my God, we are so off track. This is great.
I just can't believe you said
That's all
Heath
right.
Ledger. Like, I think Jake Gyllenhaal's way better looking than Heath Ledger. Is that wrong?
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
I mean, I think Jake Gyllenhaal. Okay, here's the controversial topic. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is a way better actor, but I don't think he's better looking because Jake Gyllenhaal has like those like really deep sunken in eyes, and like they're kind of like bug eye a little bit, you know. I think it freaks people out. It freaks me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you having to Google this?
I'm not. I don't see what you're talking about.
Really?
I'm looking up Jake Gyllenhaal right here.
Like when he smiles, it's fine, like obviously. But if he's like this, like if he's like making like any like exasperated face, his eyes like bug out a little bit. I'm like, ugh.
Huh.
It's a thing for me, you know. Just kind of makes me.
He just looks like
uneasy.
a normal looking dude to me.
Watch the movie Nightcrawler, and I think
I
you'll know what
love
I mean.
that movie. It was a good movie.
That's such a great movie.
It's so good.
That's one of the most surprisingly good movies I ever
Yeah.
watched.
I see it now. I see it.
You see it now, yeah. I'm not wrong.
But I feel like his normal like smile isn't like that. But I see it now. Yeah, it is very. His eyes get very large. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Maybe
Chris, do you have that problem?
maybe I like his eyes large because mine are so just like I don't have eyelids, or my eyelids recess under my front lid. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like most people, you can see their
That's
eyelids, but you
Yeah.
can't see mine.
like is it called a hooded eyelid? Is that what they call it?
Oh, that's dope. I don't know.
I don't know. My wife said that I have hooded eyelids the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty gangster, you know. It's
Yeah.
it's hard out here for a G."
I mean, I guess you got one kind of white hood.
Yeah, that does sound kind of bad, doesn't it? That
it
sounds a little
does.
bit.
It does.
I think it's time to move on. I'm not a part of any like nationalist group or
A white supremacist group.
racial
Speaking of
superiority group.
hoods, have you guys seen American Circumcision?
I've heard of American.
No, but I have
Arson.
heard about this.
It's very good. It's a It's like a documentary about male genital mutilation, and it's
Yeah.
really
Why it
good.
became such a big thing?
And America's like one of the only places that still does it like, on
Yeah.
a regular basis, right?
I mean, when we were having our first kid, I asked the nurse, I was like, "What's the percentage of people that get circumcision?" She's like, "It's really 50% now, and it's trending."
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Really good
It
documentary.
really
It's
is
good to
trending
watch
downwards.
before you have like
I've heard about that too.
kids. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I would have watched it before I had we had our first one because my wife was adamant on circumcision and I was like,
Pretty
I
agnostic
guess,
about it.
well, I mean, I was like, I don't really care, I guess. But
Yeah, I'd
I
never
also
thought
didn't
of
like
it.
really understand like, yeah.
My circumcision was recorded on VHS. My
No.
dad filmed
No.
like the first my dad filmed like the first 24 hours of my life essentially, and there is certainly a scene there. You could watch it on VHS one of these days. If you ever come over to the Menega household, you could watch it. But yeah, my
I'm
dad's
in.
bringing me in, and the nurse does her little snipping, and I start screaming.
The nurse did it?
I think it was like a nurse.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
nurse sees it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has to be a doctor, doesn't it?
Or, I don't know.
No.
Somebody who should be doing it that isn't my dad. And anyway, he's recording and he's got those old like
Mm-hmm.
like the camcorders or whatever.
Camcorder.
Yeah, there he is behind the camcorder, just as I'm screaming my fooling head
Did
off.
did he zoom in?
I don't remember if it maybe potentially.
Well, Mason, next time we're at your house, we're
I mean,
watching this.
I mean,
We're
you
going to
still
get to
have
the
to
bottom
zoom
of
in
this.
these days, but yeah, probably.
Why don't you just
definitely
like
zoom in then.
upload it as like bonus footage, like for Patreon or something?
Yeah, there you go. So, dude, you should do that.
Put it on a T-shirt.
Hell yeah, you could make some money off this experience you had.
How do you spell circumcision? I definitely like tweeted about mine once.
C-I-R
Circum.
C-U-M-C-I-S-I-O-N.
Oh yeah, you're a teacher. You're good at this stuff.
I made like a joke once about circumcision on Twitter, and I'm like blanking on what I said.
Is it on a shirt yet?
Oh, I said something about. I said Paul spends half of the New Testament talking about why you don't have to get circumcised to be a Christian, and yet my evangelical parents did it to me anyway. And then there was somebody who was like this like anti-circumcision activist person that like replied to me or whatever, and I was like, why you're like something about how I could like sue my parents for it or something. I was like,
what?
I don't care.
Oh, dude, your parents are loaded.
Let's go.
Yeah, they said, have you considered suing the hospital, or not suing my parents, suing the hospital for agreeing to do it? Something needs to be done about this horrible child mutilation. One high-profile case might be enough. And then I screenshotted that and posted it and said, I made a joke about my circumcision, and some random person on here told me I should make it a high-profile case, and I can assure you that if it involves my dick, it will be a small-profile court case.
It's funny.
I'm reading that at the next show.
So funny.
There you go. It reminds me. Are you guys? Do you guys like Rob Delaney?
Yeah, for sure.
There was a great. Let me see if I can find it. Oh,
he's a comedian.
He there was this person that posted this. It was like this woman that posted this hat that said "Dick Inspector," and Rob Delaney replied to that tweet and said, "You'll be shutting mine down and issuing numerous fines." And somebody replied back to that and said, "I hear they're much more lenient on small businesses."
Aren't you guys like just completely impressed by the humor of the internet sometimes?
It's so good.
There's so many great jokes out there.
Yeah, Reddit.
Sometimes they're not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not even trying to be funny. Like I was just.
Do you remember
the
40 to 60 feral hogs? Remember that where this guy like it was around like a gun control debate thing or whatever, and this guy was like needing he was like, I need a assault rifle for my 40 to 60 feral hogs that could like kill my family or something. But it was just like the way he worded it, where it's like 40 to 60 feral hogs.
It sounds like a setup for a joke, doesn't it?
It totally does.
Yeah.
See if I can find it. It was so good. Oh, there's even a Vox thing about it. Yeah, legit question for rural Americans. How do I kill the 30 to 50 feral hogs that run into my yard within 3 to 5 minutes while my small kids play?
That just sounds like a worse version of Pet Sematary.
Totally.
Sometimes dead is better.
Cullen, I feel like at this point we should do.
Oh, we've lost the plot.
We should do our thing, right?
Chris, I'm so sorry. We've been hanging out. Hopefully this has been entertaining enough for you too.
That's great.
But it is time to do our top 5. And your top 5 today is bands I should like on paper but don't, or bands I don't like on paper but do.
Or you could do both.
I just I don't see what this has to do with the Attack on Titan series finale.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know? Okay. Well, I'll just
I'm not an anime fan, but I do sympathize with you.
Attack on Titan? Isn't that is that Teen Titans?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Mason. Shut the hell up.
It's
Attack
just
on
the
Titan.
best piece of media I've ever consumed. It's. I know there's people out there that have watched it.
Okay, so real quick, is if you were to recommend one piece of anime that you think a typical adult would really, 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 really enjoy,
Yeah, I got
would
one.
it be? Would it be Attack on
No.
Titan?
Well, maybe.
What would it be?
Depends on your threshold for discomfort, but I would say full.
I love discomfort, as you can tell.
Okay, then
Well,
that
the
one.
circumcised ones.
Yeah, you'll know. Yeah, you'll know the first episode whether it's for you or not. But I would say generally.
Does anyone spit in a hand? Sorry.
But I would say generally Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the easiest,
awesome.
and it's so fun and it's really good. But Attack on Titan is my favorite thing I've ever watched. I think my life I will never watch anything that good. I'm pretty sure. I would love it if I could, but I can't imagine a world beating that.
So, like when I was in middle school, I was obsessed with Inuyasha. Have you watched Inuyasha?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, you should check out Inuyasha. In fact, I'm gonna stick by what I say here, and I'm actually gonna go back and I'm gonna go watch it again because I loved it that much.
Inuyasha?
Yeah, Inuyasha.
Okay, I see it. Cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Sick. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Text me.
Yeah, I'm always looking for stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, so bands that I should like that I don't like. I think the worst band, oh my God. Everything's good about them. They do the right things, but I hate their music, and it would have to be Bless the Fall. Just don't like it at all. It just like anytime I listen to it, I'm like, God, you guys are such posers. I hate it. It just feels so fake. I don't believe them. It's too precise. I just hate it. I hate it so much. So that
interesting.
Yeah. So that would be one.
You know, we have had Craig Mabbitt on the podcast once.
He doesn't count.
He doesn't count?
For
Why
Bless
not?
the Fall. I don't know. That first record, that one's horrible. I don't think that counts. That's not the time period I'm talking about. That one sounds like terrible. I don't know how they took off. Yeah. But the stuff with Bo, where it's more refined and like good production and stuff. Yeah, that's mainly what I'm talking about. I hate that so much.
Okay.
Next one that I should like, because I'm a new metal guy, but I really, really, really hate Korn. Can't listen to them.
Really?
And
Korn.
I hate them so much. They're just horrible. Like, I mean, they're good, obviously, to most people, but like, I just hate all the discordant stuff. Like, it's just too like
a little overdone. I can see that.
Yeah, it feels like just I'm listening to this floppy fish just trying to get back in the water, but he's like so dead that he doesn't have any fight left. And he's like, it's not heavy.
You know,
yeah,
that's a really interesting thing, because I actually had that same kind of thought for a long time, like where it's just like it's almost that it wouldn't be a problem if it was discordant, if it had some extra oomph behind it. But oftentimes when they do that discordant stuff, it's so sparse and there's so much space. It's like, as you're saying, it's like a fish. It's like it just can't get back to the water. That's such a great analogy there. Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah. And then one band. The other one was one band that
you shouldn't on paper like or enjoy, but for whatever reason you actually really love.
Yeah. So I play a lot of Rocket League and like a lot of the highlight videos. You know, Rocket League, Soccer Cars, the video game.
What rank are you?
D2.
Or what league are you? You're in Diamond 2?
Diamond 2. And I think I can get to 3, but I've been on a losing streak.
I was going to say we should play together, but I'm nowhere near that good.
I mean, it's still fun to play together.
I mean, like I've hit like gold 3 before, and I thought I was like on top of the world.
I think gold was the one that took me the longest to get out of. It's just too wide of a skill set. Like people that just start the game get placed in gold, and people who have been playing for like 5 years are in gold. It's really hard to get out because you're just at the mercy of your matches, and you have to be able to hard carry entirely out of gold. And then platinum's pretty easy to climb through, but like gold sucks. I think it's kind of that way with most video games. Like just that mid level where like you could have some good skill, but you just can't like hard carry out of it. And then all the beginners are placed and they flood that rank, and it sucks.
For sure.
That's my idea.
What do you play on?
PlayStation. I used to play on my Mac, but then they stopped offering Mac support. So like I can't play on my computer anymore. And it's way better on the computer. I could see 244 frames, and now I'm at like 30 frames. But it's still fun. But yeah. I'll say the one band So so Rocket League. So the highlight videos all have drum and bass songs behind them. Like everything's 175 beats per minute, and I just fell in love with it. And I don't like any sort of EDM or anything, but the drums, the pace of the drums is awesome. So the artist I most listened to on Spotify for like the last 3 or 4 years in a row is Faint. He just has like guest singers like Vila and some other people, I don't remember their names, like really pretty girl voices. And I love that guy. Like everything he puts out is like my favorite thing, and my kids like it too, because my kids hate heavy music, but they don't like hot sauce on their food yet either, so they shouldn't like heavy music yet. But
they gotta grow hair on their chest before
they gotta grow into it. So that's my favorite. And then I guess as a caveat, I feel like I've never really appreciated female voices in heavy music. Just this last year or two, that's like all I've been listening to. So like Spirit Box, the Hell Freaks, Terminal Sleep, from
Slow Pulse.
No.
Dying Wish.
Dying Wish. I listen to them all the time.
That interview just came out today.
No way, dude. That's so sick.
She was great too.
So good.
Oh my gosh, they're awesome.
Chris, are you into Rollo Tomasi?
Tosinabasi?
No, Rollo Tomasi.
I actually thought the same thing.
No. Oh, that's also a female fronted metal band that like does like gent stuff, but they'll also do like songs that are just 100% singing, like kind of alternative stuff. They're fantastic.
Rollo Tomasi?
Fantastic. But they've been around since about 2008.
Yeah.
I think their first album was like 2008. And their last couple albums, I think, are even some of their best stuff they've ever done. But their first album was very like kind of mathy stuff, very similar to Animals as Leaders, but with like singing and screaming. But their last couple albums have like gent stuff, metalcore stuff. It's actually like, it almost feels like a female fronted version of Fallstar.
Have you showed me them before, Mason?
How do you spell it? I'm just getting an old guy.
ROLO and then Tomasi, TOMASSI. They're fantastic. So good. Like just listen to their like top stuff on Spotify initially, and I think it is a really good like intro to all their stuff.
Sweet, I will listen to them.
But yeah, it's the woman screams everything and then she sings everything. Like she's just a fantastic singer. She's so good. But yeah, all their top stuff on Spotify, just like listen to that and you'll be blown away. They're so fantastic.
Cool.
Well, if you do like recommendations too, and you want a little bit more drum and bass as well, there's one artist that I always go to for it called Noisia. I'm not sure if you're from Noisa. I would start with a song called like Split the Atom or something like that. Or Machine Gun, I think. Split the Atom is my favorite though. But very drum and bass, a little bit like dubstep to a certain extent. Not like not too far into dubstep, but yeah. Good stuff. Anyways,
here's a really quick can I
yeah, let's hear a sample of this. I'm wondering if I've actually heard it before.
Am I able here 1 second. Well, oh, never mind. I have to. Not going to work on screen sharing right now. But anyway.
Oh well. Okay. Well.
Wait. Well, here. Let me actually.
Okay.
Let me try. Oh, never mind. I'm not able to do it. Never mind.
All right. I'm just waiting for you to like.
They're so good.
Yeah. What would you like to plug here, Chris?
I would say I have a couple of things.
Okay.
So the first one would be our merch store. So there's the Face Down merch store and then the band merch store. So our merch store is called Fallstar Motorcycle Club. I think our search engine optimization is horrible, but you can find it from our Instagram or our Facebook. But that's all the merch that we make, and a lot of people have been buying it, and I design all the stuff, and it looks really cool.
Dude, I didn't know this existed. That's crazy.
I know.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's really yeah. So there's that, and we just did stuff for fall, and they're really cool. And then I'll do a couple things for winter. But we do a lot of pre-order stuff. So if you're like a bigger dude and you need 3XL, like we order some anyways, but a lot of big dudes want stuff, and that's like the first thing to sell out. Or a small, if you're a small.
Sure.
So we do some pre-order stuff with that. But on that website, there's a sign up for a newsletter, and I send out one a month. And just if you love our band, just follow our newsletter so that you can know when we're funding our next record. And we'll be doing that this next year. And it's awesome to fund our record because it helps. And then we just do all the cover songs and the B-sides, and there's just like a bunch of cool perks that come with it. So if you like that stuff, then follow there. But I mean, other than that, no, we'll just do some more tours this year. We've been doing a lot more lately, so putting out something soon. Yeah.
Any chance you guys come to the Midwest, maybe like Minneapolis area or Omaha, Sioux Falls area? Sick.
Yeah, we're figuring the routing out right now. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Can you make sure you bully the undertaking guys into that doing that too?
And potentially light worker as well, maybe even, you know?
They might.
There we go.
Yeah.
How sick.
Damn.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we're just still figuring it out right now, but I'm 98% sure we'll be there this year.
Very cool.
Hell yeah.
Very, very cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, the album is wonderful. It's great. There's a reason why it's going to be, at least between Cullen and I, it's going to be in that top 5 albums of the year for us. So it's so fantastic. It does really feel like you guys are getting better with every single album. Like it doesn't feel
100%.
like you've really gotten to that point where you've peaked. Like it feels like you guys are totally getting better and better every time. So thanks so much for talking about the new album, and also like thanks for just like doing the rambling.
Dude, it's always good. You guys.
This is what happens if you just hung out with Cullen and I. Like this is the kind of shit that comes up.
This is exactly what comes up.
We'll talk about female-fronted hardcore bands too. Like it all happens.
Talking about spitting in hands.
Right.